Okay, so we now have our EC2 instance. And so as we can see, we have an IPv4 public IP right here, and that's the one we've been using all along to SSH. So let's just make sure of this. Yep, we can SSH into our machine. Great. But now we can have also a private IP. And this IP we cannot use to SSH. So we can, convince you of this by just trying to replacing the IP with a private IP. And as you can see, nothing happens. That's because we're not in the same network as our EC2 instance. So we'll just exit this. But if we go onto our machine, this IP is basically going to be accessible because this IP is the IP of our machine. This is where we get EC2 user at IP 172.31.34.100. So what happens now if we stop our instance and see what happens? So I'll go ahead and I will stop my instance. So as we can see, just try to remember in your mind, 35, 180, 100, 144, and then the private IP is 172.31.34.100. So I'll go ahead and stop my machine. And basically any data on the ephemeral server will be lost. So I'll just say yes, stop it. And now my instance is being stopped. So now we can see that basically our IPv4 public IP has been completely lost. But our private IP is still the same, 172.31.34.100. Now we can convince ourselves that the public IP will change by just restarting our instance. So I did start, and basically the instance is getting started. And so if I refresh this, in a second, what we should be seeing is a public IP available for us. And now indeed, we have a IPv4 public IP, 35.180.43.69, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't the one from before. So yes, it's definitely different from the one from before. So now to SSH into my machine, I need to replace by the new public IP. And so that's something that beginners really sometimes don't understand, is that when you stop and you then you start your machine, the public IP will change, and so you'll have to update your SSH command or your PuTTY if you're using Windows. But as you can see, I am still in the very same machine, and it will still have the same private IP. So from there, we can do whatever we want. So now, something about elastic IPs. So I'll just do it once to show you how it's done. If you go to the bottom left, there's elastic IPs. Underneath, we can allocate a new address and click on allocate. And now we get an elastic IP right here. We can close this window. And now basically this IP isn't attached to anything right now, so we can be billed for it. And it basically has an allocation ID. And so what we can do is right click and associate that address with our instance right here that is running. And it says, this is great, I have attached it to my instance. I click on associate, and the request has been succeeded. So now as we can see, this has been associated. So if we go back to our instance, and we can find that the IPv4 public IP now is this IP, and by the way, it's a link straight to our elastic IP. So what I can do is log out of my EC2 machine. So here I am logged out, and I can replace now by the public IPv4. So this is great. It is very fine. We are logged into it. And now what we can see is that if I stop my machine, so if I do instance state stop, basically the IPv4 is not going to be lost. So now, as you can see, the IPv4 is still there, although my instance is lost. So that means that the IP will persist across things. Now I really don't want to keep that IP around. So what I'll do is that I'll just get on with it and dissociate the elastic IP address. So I say, yes, disassociate, please. And then under elastic IP, I will go ahead and quickly release that address because we don't need it. And if we don't use it, we're going to be billed for it. So the IP now is gone, and under instances, we've lost our IPv4 address. And obviously, if we restart it, then we'll get a new IPv4. So I hope that explains a lot around what is a public IP, a private IP, and an elastic IP. And I will see you in the next lecture.